Good day and welcome to Dub's Paradise. I'm Dub, short for Big Dub, and remember, never skip leg day. Okay, that was a bit cliche, but I'll get better. Today we're going to talk about Chelsea's match from yesterday, preview today's Champions League matchups, go over a bit of Indian Wells news, talk about some NFL action, there was a lot of it, and then we'll go into the results of my fantasy MLB draft last night. So Chelsea, they actually managed to get the win last night like I predicted they should at home at Stamford Bridge. It was pretty impressive in the second half at least because they scored, my boy Nico Jackson scored the first goal off a nice little flick off a Cole Palmer shot. And like everyone, like Premier League Twitter account, like a Chelsea Twitter account, it's like, did Nico really mean that flick? It's like, are you kidding me? It was a clear attempt to deflect the shot and get into the back of the net. If it wasn't for him, the shot would have been kicked out because it wasn't a hard shot at all. So the defender could have got it. It could have been saved. But that little touch by Nico Jackson got it in the net. And that was his goal. And the commentators were saying, imagine if that was Drogba. They would have been saying, world class, world class, world class. So all I ask is that you put some respect on Nico's name. And remember what I said about paying so much for a new striker when he's gradually improving as the year goes on. He just looks impressive every game, even though sometimes he misses his chances, or most times, but he's still young and he scored a lot of good goals this season. The first half, like we started off the first 10 minutes rather strong, and then after that goal it seemed like we were just like off the back foot, like we weren't trying to score 2 goals ASAP. That allowed Newcastle to get some momentum, get some confidence. They kept charging at us. They kept missing a few chances. And for some reason, I'm watching the game and I'm like, why are they just laying back as if there's like why can't they just keep on pressing? Like all the good teams, they score a goal, they want to get another one right away. Especially when they score after only 6 minutes. Like you're not going to win 1-0. So if that's like Poch telling them to lay back, then that's an issue. But if it's just their own effort, then that's a different question altogether. But I don't question their effort, so it's probably Poch's tactics. And because of that, they scored a goal. Newcastle scored a goal to tie it up before halftime, and I was watching like come on now. And they just kept kicking the ball all over the place. They look confused. They look like disoriented. And so no one was really surprised when they tied it up 1-1. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of Raheem Sterling. Whenever he has the ball, he seems to do a turnover. He's very selfish. Doesn't pass the ball when he should pass the ball. And he scored some goals this season, but for the most part, his play hasn't been impressive to me, especially because he's so selfish. And if he's so selfish, he should be at least better at being selfish. Nico Jackson down the wing would be great. A striker in the middle would be great. And then Cole Palmer down the left would be great too. I feel like Nico Nkuku, when he's back, Mudryk can all rotate in that sort of direction, but Sterling got to keep away from the pitch. But yeah, and so when I was watching Sterling play, I was like, please get Mudryk on ASAP. Get him on the game ASAP because he can look for players, he can set it up, and he can finish. As you saw, the game was tied 1-1 going to the second half, and Chelsea then, they came out strong. They came out looking passionate. They came out looking wanting to score. It took a while. It took at least 10 minutes. Like in the 55th minute is when they started to really start to grind out, and Newcastle started to make more mistakes, and Chelsea was taking advantage of them. Cole Palmer just the greatest signing of the season so far. Been involved in so many goals, just so impressive. He scored a nice goal from outside the box. It was a snipe to the near corner. The goalie couldn't save it. We were up 2-1 and feeling confident. We were controlling the game, looking to score more. Newcastle wasn't doing that well. They're getting tired. They're making mistakes. Like, they weren't impressive at all. Like, if I was part of their fan base, I'd probably feel worse if I was them than Chelsea is right now, as far as the season goes. But I'm glad I'm not a Newcastle fan, because they got a lot of work to do after doing quite well last year to finish fourth and make it to the Champions League. And then finally, with half an hour to go, or 20 minutes to go, Poch brought on Misha Mudryk, and like I predicted, he even scored. He scored a wicked goal. Nico Jackson sprinting down the wing, pass it to Conor Gallagher. Mikhailo Mudryk, I guess he snatched the ball off Gallagher's feet, and then the defense for Newcastle wasn't even prepared for that. Just boom, deke around him in the back of the net. The goalie had no chance. He was like a fish out of water. And then Mudryk got his goal, and he's just been impressive. And I feel like every game from now on, Mudryk should be starting instead of Sterling, which it seems to be an easy decision to make if I was Pochettino. I've seen way more out of Mudryk, way more potential out of Mudryk, and even his first touch yesterday, they were great. He wasn't the ball wasn't hitting his feet and then it would go out of bounds or he had to catch up to it. He was great. His footwork during his goal was world class, and if he could produce that on a daily basis or on a gamely basis, I don't see why we can't be even better with him, because he's great. Nico Jackson is great. Malo Gusto, oh gosh, he's great. Cucurella played last night. Conor Gallagher played last night. I thought he was going to be sick, but he played and he was hustling. He seemed to not be 100%, but he was good enough to make plays, which he did. Caicedo, I think he had an okay game. Enzo had a good game. Disasi, Chalobah, great. All of our team performed well last night, and that was good. But just allowing 2 goals, I think Petrovic, like I said, Sanchez is better making saves, and Petrovic probably could have saved. I don't know if Sanchez could have saved those shots, but I feel like we'll never know. But I've seen Sanchez make a couple of tough saves, and I've seen Petrovic allow questionable goals. That's all I'm saying. So after today, what's next for Chelsea? They have their FA Cup matchup on Sunday, and they're still at home at Stamford Bridge, so they should win that game. Hopefully, they're facing Leicester. I'm not sure how to pronounce that name, but it's all these England names have some syllables, but not all the syllables. Sort of like that. But Leicester maybe, and I think they're in the Championship right now, the Championship League of English football. So it should be another game that Chelsea should win. They should dominate that. So far in all competitions this year, Chelsea seems to have an easy path to semifinals, quarterfinals, finals. But as long as they win those games, then that's all I ask. And so far they won that game, except for Liverpool Championship. So maybe they'll get back there again this year for the FA Cup and get their revenge at Wembley. And then after that Leicester break, or after that Leicester game, they're gonna be on international break. A lot of players gonna go to play for England. Who else? Got some France players on their team. Got Argentina. I'm not sure if it's the European champion, European international break, or it's going to be everyone's going back to their country for the international break. But I know that the Euros are going to be this summer, so England is going to be preparing for that. France preparing for that. And Cole Palmer hopefully has a role on England's team, because he is going to be great. But that midfield for England, Jude Bellingham, Phil Foden, Cole Palmer. Who else? Like, I don't know, Grealish. Harry Kane's gonna be back for England, so they should. England should do well. I mean, they've been waiting for some players to bring them back to the promised land, and that could be these players here. But like France has Mbappe, so they're gonna be favored. Spain's always good. Portugal, gotta watch out for them. But Germany, a lot of great teams in the Euros, a lot of great players. When Chelsea comes back, let's see who they're gonna be playing. Chelsea after the international break, they're gonna be playing. Is it? Oh, Burnley. So their game after the international break is going to be once again at home versus Burnley. So they're going to have three straight home games. Well, even four straight if you count. They're going to be playing Manchester United on April 4th at home. So they're going to have four straight home games. And imagine they go 4-0. That'd be spectacular. And they should, because they got to get revenge on United. They got to beat Burnley. They got to beat Leicester in the FA Cup. So, and we're going to be getting more momentum because Mudryk should be playing more. Nico Jackson getting better. Cole Palmer getting better. Gallagher, Enzo, Caicedo getting better. Gusto, great. Disasi, Chalobah, Cucurella, Petrovic or Sanchez, whoever plays. It's a solid lineup. It's honestly a solid lineup. They're better than Manchester United. They are. So that should be a good stretch that Chelsea fans should not be depressed after that stretch. So today's Tuesday, so you know what that means. First day of the Champions League, second fixtures. So we're gonna see Arsenal playing Porto. And Arsenal, like you already know, is down 1-0 on aggregate, and they must win this game. If I was betting, I would say they would win, but I won't be surprised because they dominate England, but they don't dominate Europe. But hopefully they can win because I guess I'm biased towards England more than Portugal. I would say since Arsenal needs to win and they're at home, I would say they're going to win. I would say they're going to win 3-1. I would say the goal scorer is going to be Trossard, Bukayo Saka, Kai Havertz. But Declan Rice has been scoring. Like, he just sneaks in the box and he heads it in, kicks it in. He's been doing well so far. I'm not quite sure who's going to score because they have such great goal scorers on their team, just great finishers on their team from any position. So it's going to be tough to see who's going to score, but you got to go with Saka for at least one. You got to go maybe Trossard and Havertz. I'll go with those few to score. If they score 3-1, maybe one of them will get 2 goals. And that'd be cool. So my prediction for that game is going to be probably Arsenal's going to be 3-2 on aggregate by the end. 3-2 because Porto will score 1 goal. Because they have to score at least 1 goal. They're going to try. Put some stress on Arsenal. So the next Champions League game today is going to be Barcelona versus Napoli. Barcelona's at home and they're going to be... I honestly can't breathe. So like I was saying, Barcelona's at home and they're playing Napoli, and on the aggregate, they're tied 1-1. That is a very tough game to predict because both teams are good. Both teams haven't been doing well in their domestic leagues. I don't know who has the better players. All I know is that Chelsea wants Osimhen and he hasn't been doing so well this season. Or maybe he has. I'm not exactly sure what his standards are. But I know Napoli hasn't been doing great this season. I know like Milan is up by a lot in Series A. Barcelona is playing at home. That gives them an advantage. But it's going to be a huge advantage. Oh, it's tough. Like, I hope that game goes to extra time and maybe penalty kicks. Like, I think those teams are the type of teams that would happen to. But it's going to be 0-0. It's going to be 1-1, 2-2. We gotta see about that. I don't want to predict a draw. I don't like to say that they're gonna have a tie because it's like I'm on the fence, but I gotta pick a winner. So I would say the final score is gonna be a tie. Here's what I want. I want it to go to extra time and penalties, and I could see that happening because of how these two teams play and what's on their team and the stakes. And they might not want to make any mistakes during the game after they score. So they might just risk getting it to penalties, depending on what their strategies are. And then I would say that Napoli will win on penalties. So we'll see if I'm right about that. I'm not always right, but I feel like if you've been watching Dub's Paradise from the start, you would probably see like he's pretty accurate with what he says, which I'm proud to say I've done my homework. I know what I'm talking about. I'm just sick right now. My nose is just terrible, and I probably sound like I'm going crazy, but I gotta do it every day. So Indian Wells is still going strong. The tournament is getting more exciting every day. We're getting to the round of 16, almost the quarterfinals, almost the semifinals, and the weekend's gonna be the finals, which is gonna be great. So, what's the update about Indian Wells? Naomi Osaka, unfortunately, she lost. I think she's still trying to get her stamina ready because she's been playing well and she's been getting close, but maybe her stamina is not just quite up to match play. Sabalenka, number 2 in the world, she is going strong. Coco Gauff, still 1-2. She's been put to the test this tournament, which is probably good for her, but she's still in the tournament, gonna be in the round of 16, looking to go to the quarterfinals. And Iga Swiatek, number 1 in the world, is playing today in the round of 16, and I expect she'll win that rather easily because she is a great tennis player. Goes without saying, it'd be a major upset. And speaking of major upsets, Djokovic lost. Before the match, all the commentators were saying things like, the lucky loser, Nardi from Italy, he's a lucky loser, gets to face number 1 in the world, Novak Djokovic, the lucky loser. I'm like, why are you saying that? Like, he has the chance to win if he made it this far. It's tough to obviously to face Djokovic. But to say lucky loser is kind of like insulting, like, is he already going to lose? Because yesterday he showed that he's not going to lose when he actually beat Djokovic. And it seemed like Djokovic, he lost in Australia and he was off until Indian Wells, and now he's out of that too. So is the decline of Novak Djokovic happening before our eyes? He's making it so far and then he loses. Maybe he'll start to lose even earlier than this. I don't want to see it happen. I want to see you keep on winning, but Father Time is unbeatable. But hey, 23 Grand Slams, he's the GOAT, so it's okay. But it's sad to see. But it's good to see some new players winning. I'll tell you who's happy about Djokovic being out of the tournament. Taylor Fritz, who won his matchup, and he's moving on to the round of 16. Daniil Medvedev won his matchup. Gilbert Feast, he's unseeded and he's going on to the round of 16. He's doing quite well. Tsitsipas, he's still in the tournament. He beat Tiafoe last game, so he would kind of be another overrated player. So I wouldn't say he's on a good stretch, but he's been playing well enough to get to beat Tiafoe at least, so that's good for him. And if he proves me wrong, that'd be great. I said he would be out earlier than this, and he's still in the game, so good for him. Good for him. Today also, Alcaraz is playing. Zverev is playing, and those would be some good matchups because Zverev is facing the Australian. I forgot his name, but he's 10th in the world, and Zverev is 6th. That should be good, but I think Zverev should win that game. He's been great, and he's just going to be rising up to the higher rankings pretty soon. And then later on tonight, there's going to be a big matchup between Yannick Sinner and Ben Shelton, the young American. Ben Shelton is quite good. He's been impressive. He's made this far. There's not so many Americans left except for Coco Gauff, Fritz, etc. A few others maybe, but 3 Americans left, and he's one of them. And now he's playing Yannick Sinner, who is number 3, but he's gradually rising. He should do. It's got to be a great matchup of power and skill and speed, but Sinner is number 3 in the world for a reason, so I think he'll take care of Shelton. But if Shelton wins, I won't be upset about that. He deserves to go far too. But I picked Sinner to win the whole tournament, so I wanted to be right about that. I mean, I was wrong about the women because Rebecca had to withdraw, but I would have picked Coco Gauff next, as she's still in there. So good. Good for these players. And tomorrow we're going to see who wins, and it's going to be the quarterfinals pretty soon. I think I'm just rushing this because I got to stop talking. Like, I got to get my nose. Like, do you think like Nabaj, the shower for your nose, will help me clear my sinuses? Like, would that work? Like, is it a thing like something in my nose that will come out? Or is it just like I was sick? I don't know. Like, I blow my nose and I'm still stuffed up, so I don't get it. I don't get it at all. It's just frustrating. But anyways, in the NFL, there are major transactions everywhere. Like last season, all the running backs were upset because they weren't getting good deals. They weren't getting this and that, like no money, just getting franchise tagged. And like, oh, wait till I get to all these movements. What's first? Kirk Cousins, who was Minnesota's quarterback, who's a great quarterback. Like, technically, I wouldn't say he's like rather clutch, really, but he's great stats wise. And he went to Atlanta Falcons, who are in dire need of a quarterback because they have young stars, young wide receivers, a young tight end, young running back, and they just need a quarterback who's capable of throwing the ball downfield, who can manage a game, who could take calculated risks that could be successful because of how good he is. So Kirk Cousins to Atlanta, that should be good for all parties. But Kirk Cousins coming off what's that, ACL? I think he tore his ACL, so hopefully he can come back stronger. We'll see how Aaron Rodgers does when he comes back next season. That leaves questions for Justin Jefferson in Minnesota. Like, he's gonna have a mid quarterback now on his team thrown to him. So I hope they trade him because Jefferson's my favorite player, LSU. So he's gotta have a quarterback who could throw to him because he gotta put up his stats. So if not, they better trade him. Like, they better trade him, or maybe the Vikings will trade for Justin Fields, because now that Russell Wilson has gone to the Steelers, it seems like Justin Fields is not going to the Steelers, which is sad to say, but that's what I wanted to happen. So what else? Believe it or not, I'm happy for Saquon Barkley because he got paid. But funny enough, he got paid by the Eagles, so he's leaving the Giants to go to Philadelphia, the same division. Like, that is a bold move. And was Philly the only team who wanted to pay him, or was that like the best opportunity he had to win a Super Bowl in Philadelphia? But to go to your rival team, that takes a lot of guts. So we'll see how he does in Philly this season. He should do well. Philly's gonna have Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, a decent defense, and now adding Saquon Barkley, they should win the division, the NFC East. They should win it. Josh Jacobs, like he left the Raiders to go to the Green Bay Packers. They paid him. Jerry Jeudy was traded from Denver to the Cleveland Browns, so Deshaun Watson next season is gonna have some players to throw to. Deshaun Watson, we'll see how he does. Like, he's not been great since coming back. I traded for him in my fantasy team before he came back, like, just with the potential of him doing well, and he hasn't been doing great at all, or relatively speaking. He was injured for most of last season, so hopefully this season is like his restart officially, and he could just do well, put up some running stats, put some dog stats up, get some touchdowns. Jerry Jeudy, Amari Cooper, Nick Chubb, etc. The Browns, should be good, but they're the Browns, so they're always cursed, seems like. And I wouldn't be surprised, because based on Deshaun Watson's history, he's like, he could be cursed because of the rumors around him about what he does. Like, is he a person who deserves to be doing well? That's what you got to think about. But like, morality is a different story than actual stats and effort you put in. So, and we all know the world does not work around morality. So we'll see what happens with Cleveland. So Gardner Minshew went to the Las Vegas Raiders, quarterback. The Raiders have a good young coach. They had a quarterback, Aiden O'Connell, who was a rookie last year. He came in and did okay. He wasn't putting up great stats, but he did okay. Gardner Minshew, I wouldn't say he's by any means deserves to be starting over Aiden O'Connell, but it'd be a good competition to put some stress on O'Connell to make him improve. Everyone needs a kind of push from veterans, but Aiden O'Connell has some good weapons too. Devontae Adams still there, so we'll see how preseason goes for these guys. What else happened at NFL? Austin Eckler went to the Commanders. He left the Chargers. There's so much movement going on in NFL. It's just hard to keep up about why they're doing this and who they're, and like, etc. Because the Commanders have Brian Robinson. They got rid of Antonio Gibson. I think he went to the Patriots. So, like, Brian Robinson, he was okay. Like, he caught the ball. He ran the ball quite well. Got a good amount of touchdowns. But obviously, Eckler's better. He's a little bit injury prone. He's getting up there in age, but he's dynamic as a running back. So Philly got Barkley, and their star running back from last year, DeAndre Swift, went to the Bears. That can be a good move for him, because the Bears should be either improving with Fields or getting some supporting cast for Caleb Williams, or whatever happens there. Who knows? It's gotta be exciting. Aaron Jones went to the Minnesota Vikings from Green Bay. So they might trade for a new quarterback. They might trade for Fields to get some, to put some stats up, because Fields can throw the ball, can run the ball. He's a good quarterback. And in Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans are both signed long-term deals, or relatively long-term deals, to stay there, and they worked together great last season, so that should continue. They're a playoff team. Their division, the South, AFC South, isn't that strong, so they should win that game, or they should win that division. This nasal problem is causing me stress. I can't even breathe. Okay. So in the coming days, there should be more NFL news. The Maple Leafs are off until Wednesday or Thursday. NBA was quiet last night. The Raptors played. They were up big against Denver, but they were on the road, and of course that wasn't going to last. So They did pretty well, I guess. I wasn't watching the game really, but I was keeping up on ESPN, and I was like, yeah, it's only first half. They were up like 68-48, and of course they blew the lead. But Denver had to win that game because they wanna win the Western Conference, and Nikola Jokic, who I'm sure got another triple double, is gonna win MVP again too. So that was a good win for them to get against the Raptors. Raptors just are mid. Sign a Toronto man. All right. The MLB season is getting closer and closer every day. So last night was my first draft in the Dynasty League I'm in. It was only a 10-round draft. Like, we kept 20 players and we drafted 10 new players. And I was really like, after like the first 4 rounds, I was like, what do I do now? Do I just draft prospects? Do I draft veterans? Do I draft pitchers? So we'll go ahead and take a look at my team and see what the results were for last night. So, as you can see, like I was saying last night, I had my first MLB fantasy draft for this dynasty team that I'm doing, that I've been in for like 10 seasons now. It's been a nice league that I haven't won yet. That's my goal, to win, but this team, like I said, is pretty weak. So players I kept were Moreno, Vladdy Jr. I drafted Gavin Lux. I kept Alec Boehm. I drafted Chris Taylor, Melendez, Danny Jansen, Blue Jay, Ryan Noda, Nick Gonzalez. These guys like Gavin Cross and Hanero Miller, they seem to be prospects, so I just drafted them with the hopes that they're going to be doing well. Gavin Lux, he was supposed to be a good prospect for the Dodgers, but he's been injured a few seasons and he's been kind of replaced. But he could play, seems like, second base and left field, so he should be able to do well with that lineup if he can do at least okay, like hit for a good average, maybe get a good on base percentage. He won't hit that many home runs, but whatever. Chris Taylor, like, I don't have any shortstops on my team who are ready for MLB action, so I had to go with this veteran Chris Taylor, who could get the job done for me, but I'm not going to rely on him. As you can see, my team is pretty terrible. Like, I don't have many players who are that much owned, like Melendez, Sal Frelick, Danny Jansen, Verdugo, like Eloy Jimenez. Like, they all have potential, but it's going to be a long season. Gavin Cross, I mean, I don't know too much about him. I did a bit of research on who to draft, like prospects to look at. And I got Gavin Cross from Kansas City because they seem to be an up-and-coming team. They have some good pitchers coming up. They got Bobby Witt Jr., who is great already. Ryan Noda, I think he was a rookie last season, or almost a rookie last season. So I got him for his home run potential. But Oakland is a bad team, so I'm not going to get my hopes up at all about what he does. Hanero Miller, he seems to be like a pitcher and a hitter. And he's only 18, so I'm going to be waiting a while before he actually comes to the league to do any damage. But hopefully I can hold on to him for like 5 years, and by the time I'm 35, he's got to be good. They got this Pittsburgh Pirates player, Nick Gonzalez, who might be mid, but like I said, I needed a shortstop, so I had to draft him. Yeah, my team is pretty weak. I hope Vladdy can carry. I hope George Springer can carry. I hope Eloy Jimenez can carry. Alec Boehm with some good numbers can carry. Get some home runs. Moreno's a great catcher. Jansen gets home runs, just doesn't stay healthy. Verdugo, He's on a good lineup now, but we'll see what his potential is. Like, he can hit home runs, but he just hasn't been doing as well as he was when he was in Boston. I mean, the Dodgers first, because when he was on the Dodgers, he got a few home runs in less games than he's had so far with the Red Sox. He was pretty mid on the Red Sox. Then I got Nathaniel Lowe, who's already out with the oblique injury for 4 weeks, so he won't miss too much regular season time, but like, it's a loss, and he was gonna do maybe okay for me. So now my pitching is okay. Like, I kept Logan Allen. He's a young guy who was doing well last season. I just kept him just to keep him, because I need starting pitchers. Joe Ryan, he's a good pitcher. Chris Bassett, Cole Reagans. He had one season only, so maybe he'll either get blown up or do better. And I hope it's the latter, because I need him to do better. But he was okay. He gets strikeouts. Dylan Cease had a great season 2 years ago. Last season, he kind of got hit a bit. He gives up walks because he just tries to get a lot of strikeouts, like outside his own pitches. So it's quite risky, but he's a great pitcher, stats-wise. Got some great closers. Siwa and Buenos, Romano. Tim Meza for some holds. Can't go wrong. I might pick up someone else just to get some more holds. Then I got Jack Flaherty, and he got blown up in his last start for spring training. So hopefully that was just like him trying to test some things out to see how it's gonna go for the regular season. But he gotta do well. Then, as you can see, Miller is back down here because he's a starting pitcher. Then I got Chase Dolander, and I don't know about the Rockies prospects because the Rockies have been bad for so long, but they gotta do well sometime, right? So he's only a prospect. If he sucks, then he sucks. It's okay. And I got these studs on the bench on the IR: Tommy John surgery, Jeffrey Springs, Luis Garcia, Lance McCullers Jr. So that is my team. I have a draft coming up on the weekend, and I have another draft coming up on like Tuesday the 17th before the season starts. So, and that team is better, which I'll show you after that draft is finished. So that league I do well in, this league I don't do well in. So we'll see how it goes this season. Okay. So now we're back to Dub's Paradise. I don't know when I'm going to get better. If you're listening to this, you're probably like, this guy shouldn't be talking right now. He's just doing terrible. But I'm doing it. That's what matters. Dedication to Dub's Paradise. I'm not stressing out. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the results from Champions League. We're going to set up tomorrow's Champions League matchups. Talking about what happened at Indian Wells. And as usual, we are one more day closer to MLB opening day. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, leave comments if you have any thoughts or opinions about what I should talk about, what I should include in my next segments. I'd appreciate it. So that was episode 6 of Dub's Paradise. Have a great day.